Okay, so I'm watching Aaron Rodgers play last night, and you tell me if you saw what I saw. Keep in mind the Packers, Football Outsiders has them the number one ranked overall offense in the league. They're number one in points per game, number one in points per drive, time per drive, they're first, fourth in passing, fourth in rushing. Aaron Rodgers is the only quarterback with 0 turnover-worthy plays this season. Okay, so what that means is it's not just that he hasn't turned it over, but there were no throws or plays that he made that there should have been a turnover. Believe it or not, they have Pro Football Focus goes through every play and says, you know those plays where a defender has the ball right in their hands and you turn to your buddy and you're like, that's why he plays defense, right? None of those. First in QBR, second in passer rating, fourth in yards per attempt, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's playing unbelievable football. And this is not meant in any way to take a shot at Russell Wilson, who's playing unbelievable football. Pat Mahomes is playing really good football. Maybe not always perfect as people are starting to take away some of those deep shots. It happened with the Chargers. Frankly, last night, I thought their defense won the game for them as much as their offense. Right? Like the Chiefs haven't been clicking on all cylinders the entire year. They did so against Baltimore, who tried to challenge them, and that clearly is not the way to play against the Chiefs. And I will grant you that the Atlanta Falcons are not a particularly good team. And the Packers, you look at their wins, and, you know, several of their wins, you go back, you're like, well, the Vikings are 1-3. You can go back and we can pick things apart. They're playing great football. He's playing awesome. And he didn't have Devontae Adams for the last 2 games, and he didn't have Allen Lazard last night. He's got a running game. His offensive line is protecting. But more than anything, here's the thing that I've noticed. Aaron Rodgers is having fun playing football. Now, I have a couple of hypotheses as to why, but you may ask, okay, well, he's winning. Of course he's having fun. They won last year. Last year, they won 13 games, I believe, in the regular season. Is that right? Were they 13-3 in the regular season? They were 13-3 in the regular season. Okay? They went to the NFC Championship game. In a battle of wills against Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers had won. It was his team. He had a gargantuan contract, second biggest, I believe, last year in the NFL. So he had a big contract. He had autonomous power. He had a new head coach, and they won a bunch of games. Right? Why wasn't he having fun last year? And this year, dude's having fun. I got a couple hypotheses, and you guys tell me which you think it is. Because if we all agree that winning is super fun, and last year they were winning, but it didn't appear like he was having fun, there has to be something different from last year to this year. Is that a reasonable theory to have? All right, it's reasonable. Okay, here's one. It's the Danica theory. Okay, now, he's dated several women who are, in their own field, massive, massive stars, right? What was the previous woman's name? Olivia Munn. She's from Oklahoma, by the way. Gorgeous woman, talented actress. That, by what I've been told, was the beginning of what led to the break between he and his family. Obviously, his brother outed him on The Bachelorette, I think it was, as not having a relationship with his family. All right, there was Olivia Munn, then there's Danica Patrick. Both are very talented, very successful, very strong-willed, very smart, and very successful women. But with Danica, he seemed to be a little bit dour in his personality. I love the word dour because it basically means sour, only you use the word dour, and then people are like, oh, yeah, it kind of feels like sour. Got it, right? Dour personality. That's how he felt like he was. And whether it's because he was a vegan and he was just hungry for a steak, I don't know. Whether it was he didn't feel good about his body because he wasn't working as much on strength and he did supposedly in the offseason, or whether it was just she was kind of Debbie Downer, us against the world, and the world doesn't get us. Not really sure. There's the Danica theory. I'll say hypotheses because I don't really know. There's this other part where I think that plays a little bit of a factor. Here's another one. It's his second year, and now both sides have given in and both sides have accepted the other in terms of Matt LaFleur and his coaching. I've said this 1,000 times, and my friends who listen to it, and the first time they hear it, they text you like, I'm using that. Like, somebody said it to me once, and I've used it, so pay it forward. I don't know who came up with this expression, but it's really simple. Change is good. Transition is hard. Transition is hard. So now they've gone through a change, not just with the head coach. Remember, they changed from Ted Thompson and Brian Gutekunst a couple years ago. And the guy's been a lifer in the organization. Like, what's he doing? I don't really get it. Matt LaFleur, young, unproven, probably made a lot of mistakes and was probably a little bit intimidated at times by his quarterback. I would be. Aaron freaking Rodgers. You don't just think he knows more. He knows more because he's seen those live bullets in the biggest NFL games. But you still got to coach him. And then there's the third part. Some people get off on telling everybody else to F you, right? This is Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show talking about the criticisms he's faced the past few seasons.
Every team is different. Every year is different. And, circumstances in any year which allow you to have more success or make it more difficult for success. Just kind of depends on the situation. It does help being the second year for sure. I feel a lot more comfortable, but I sometimes laugh when people talk about down years for me, because a lot of times down years for me are career years for most quarterbacks.
That was awesome. I am so happy you said that.
Hey, it's just the facts, bro.
Right? Some dudes just get off on that stuff. They just do. And that's who Aaron really is. My true hypothesis or theory really is it's not one of the three, it's all three. Right? It doesn't speak poorly about Danica, but whatever was going on within their relationship, I think made him kind of dour at times towards some outside people. It doesn't mean that Matt LaFleur was completely incompetent or that Aaron was uncoachable, but that transition year was hard. And then when you factor in the Jordan Love factor, whether inside or outside the organization or inside the mind of Aaron Rodgers, which he's been very honest about, the idea of finding the heir apparent and having him take reps from Aaron Rodgers at some point during practice, Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't like it. He loves saying F you to everybody. Like, you know how when you're like in, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade, my son's in 6th grade, and he was looking at our garage, and he's like, Dad, we got a lot of S everywhere here. And I was like, what'd you say? He said, I said we got a lot of S everywhere here. And I was like, bro, who told you could drop an S-bomb? And he's like, but we do. Right? 1, he's right. 2, he's at that age, 11 years old, like 11 to 14, where you learn not just curse words, but how to use them properly in a sentence to really put the right emphasis on the right syllable. You know how some kids love that. So oftentimes when I speak to kids, occasionally I would throw in a little bit of a curse word, especially like high school, college kids, because it gets their attention more than the regular words. That's how Aaron Rodgers operates when people doubt him. He loves saying F you. And he is having the grandest time ever. Making guys look better than they actually are without his top 2 wide receivers just dominating on Lambeau, laughing, giggling. Dude is having a good time. He won last year, didn't crack a smile. This year, loving life. Why? I think those are the 3 factors into one. You tell me your thoughts at Gottlieb Show.
Hey, it's just the facts, bro.
It's just the facts, bro.